Hello, and welcome to the 5th century. This is Crusader Kings 2, When the World Stopped Making Sense. I forget what version of the mod I'm using. It's the most updated one for whatever date this video was uploaded. The mod is meant to very loosely simulate, emulate, reflect, show the migration, the great migrations of the 5th century and the 6th century, aka the barbarian invasions that put the nail in the coffin of the Western Roman Empire. It technically goes until 1450 whatever, like vanilla Crusader Kings 2, but really it stops having meaningful content around the year 700. But that's okay. That's, we'll say, 250 years. Plenty of time to have lots of fun with its very interesting scenarios. Little Augustus was the name of the last Roman emperor. Romulus Augustulus. Little Augustus. That's him. He was a kid. He wasn't really an emperor. He was just a puppet of this guy, Odoacer. Odoacer just got tired of him and sent him on his way, aka killed him, and declared himself king of Italy, and then Odoacer had a lot of problems. Anyway, Julius Nepos is the cousin, or no, nephew, right, the word Nepos. His name gives us the word nepotism, which is favoring family members. He, anyway, becomes the Western Roman Emperor when Augustulus gets kicked out. He declares himself the Roman Emperor, even though he doesn't control Rome. He's undone pretty quickly. You can play as him, and the map is full of awesome, cool cultures and religions that aren't in vanilla. The Celtic religion, Hellenic, you can play, but also this is back when Alexander's empire still had meaningful influence on modern meaning the 5th century, affairs, because you still have some Hellenes over here, and most importantly, over here, this guy is Mithraic. That's Hellenism. So you can play as this Mithraic guy and take over India. Also, there are lots more pagan religions. Lots, like this one, Dravidian. This is the only Dravidian ruler, but you can reform Dravidian religion. This guy, there are several religions in this game, in this mod, that exist only as bad guys to be conquered. This, for example, has no holy sites, the Manipuri religion. It's not interesting. It breaks the game. You're not supposed to play as them. I can't explain all of these religions because I'm not familiar with them. Most of them have something to do with Hellenism, though. African Solar is sun worship. It's pagan, you can reform it. There are lots of Christian sects all over the place. Some Zoroastrians over here in France, you know. You also have the Romano-British, the people who ruled what would become England prior to the Anglo-Saxon Jute invasion, and the Britons and the Cumbrians, Armoricans, the Gauls, all sorts of fun, interesting people, and the best part about this mod is the migrations. These are not at all the borders that will remain. These groups move around, new groups appear, cultures rise and fall. It's really cool. You can play as several pagan religions. Gruziel is the worship of a bull, I think, and you get +3 martial for having that religion. Kemetic is Egyptian religion. All kinds of cool stuff. But some of the religions are doomed to fail, like this Mandulus one and Gruziel, so I would not recommend playing as them. You can play as the Gauls, the Phrygians, or even this Corsican culture, Taurian, which prior to this I'd never heard of. I looked it up. Apparently that was the thing. You can invade Britannia, or you can play as the Romano-British and make a Romano-British Empire. If you play as any Romano-whatever culture, you can reform the Roman Empire. Well, potentially. There are Romano... where are they? Romano-Aramaeans? Somewhere around here. We'll find them. Lots of Jews over here. This is before Islam, of course, and the rise of Islam is in this mod, though it is poorly simulated. Basically, a 30k attrition-free doom stack appears and starts conquering, just like the Mongols. It's pretty dumb. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. Islam was really successful in spreading because the Sassanid and Byzantine empires were too busy banging against each other to notice or care that they were being conquered. When the Muslims marched into Jerusalem, the Byzantine garrison just ran away. They left the gates open for the Muslims and they went to Anatolia because they didn't want to fight. They knew they were going to lose because the emperor was too busy picking his nose, or whatever it was emperors did. Same thing in Egypt. The Muslims didn't have to fight very much. Man, I'm rambling. Oh boy. Anyway, I want to show you an empire I made with the Assyrian. This is the religion of the Assyrians, and the Assyrians, as you might remember from pretty much any history class, or the Bible if you're a Christian, were the bad guys. They weren't the bad guys in their perspective, but they did a lot of nasty things. They conquered, they pillaged, they plundered. They would tie people to walls and use whips with bits of metal on the end and flick off all of your skin without bursting a blood vessel, so you would be skinless but not bleed. Anyway, the Assyrians were hated, and they're in the game, and I made this Neo-Assyrian Empire. I made their religion, which has no heresies, 100% moral authority, and the Assyrian religion is the best in the game. It's amazing. You, as the Assyrian emperor, are the head of religion, and so your piety increases moral authority, and you can increase your piety by just warring, and because you're Assyrian, you are expected to war. Kind of the problem with Assyrians is that they fight a lot, a whole lot. Your vassals are constantly fighting each other. If you have medium crown authority, they'll be very mad at you because they can't fight each other. Anyway, I captured all of the holy sites, Jerusalem, Alexandria, and these three. And they have lots of cool names. When you reform it, this becomes Assur, this becomes Babylon, this becomes Sumer and Ur. The Assyrian Empire existed, when was it? 1000 BC? Something like that. So this is pretty far-fetched that it would be recreated in the 7th century, but anyway, you can see that I get this Servant of Assur, same faith opinion plus 30. Every Assyrian in the world gets plus 30 opinion with me. That's incredible! Your vassals love you all the time, unless you murder your wife, like I did. Oops. Well, anyway, I'm the Sword of God _ Gilgamesh. This mod is still quite unfinished. I should note, though, this is quite far into the game. You should see that religions die quite quickly. Nicene is the Christian one, the primary Christian sect. There is also Insular and Arian. Arian is a heresy of Nicene. Insular is its special British form, and the Insular guys send missionaries to the Germanic tribes, and Germanic tribes just love to become insular. Anyway, you can see these Taurian guys have their special portraits, and the West Roman Empire in my game never died. It died, but it was immediately reformed, but its control has passed between religions and cultures pretty regularly. Man, I am so rambling. Is this really a mod spotlight? It's more like Solitarian rambles about vaguely Crusader Kings 2 related things while looking at a screen with a mod on it. But that title is a bit too long. You remember that these guys were Kemetic, Now they're Nicene. And you can also, when playing as the Kemetics, conquer Egypt, build pyramids, reinstate the whole system of, as opposed to the partial system, reinstate the system of the pharaoh being a god king and whatnot. You can play as one of the migratory tribes and invade Britannia or the Roman Empire. All sorts of fun things you can do. I recommend you try this mod. It's oodles of fun. Entire oodles. Don't ask me how much an oodle is. Anyway, I think I've rambled enough. If I keep rambling, I'll have to edit this video. Whew.